Canadians need to wake the fuck up yesterday to the fact that we are an occupied country. The government, the so-called government of Canada, does not work on behalf of the Canadian people. They work on behalf of global elite interests, and they are intentionally tearing this country apart in order to profit themselves and in order to implement a WF Davos scheme that includes central digital banking currencies, digital IDs, and a gamut of newly implemented policies that will continue to chip away at our rights and freedoms that have already been stomped all over in the past decade or so since Trudeau was elected, and will continue to get worse and worse and worse. How can you claim that Canada is a democratic country when 75% of the population says that we cannot withstand any more immigration? Yet the government continues to set incredibly high immigration targets, 1.5 million people in total in the year 2025, plus another 291,000 asylum claims, and they can't even hit those targets. Q1, we again went over our massively high targets for immigration. 75% of the Canadian population says enough, but they refuse to listen. This is not a democracy. We are living in some sort of an authoritarian system that not only disregards the will of the people, actively ignores the will of the people. We have 70,000 Canadians a year dying because they can't get the health care that they need due to the fact that our systems are overloaded. We have a record 2 million Canadians using food banks due to the fact that our economy, our GDP per capita, which is widely considered to be the best measure of people's well-being on an individual basis, has fallen now 6 quarters in a row. We have a housing crisis unlike anything this country has seen for a century, since the early 1900s, strictly due to the fact that we have a government that only builds 220,000 houses a year and allows 1.5 million people into the country. Look at a chart since Trudeau came in office. Housing prices have absolutely skyrocketed in this country. We have a political class that tells you that at a time when crime is absolutely skyrocketing again, like we haven't seen since, well, it started skyrocketing when Trudeau was elected. His father did an absolutely horrible job on crime as well. But when violent crime is up nearly 50% in the past decade alone, when crimes against women are up 80%, and we know the usual suspects who are committing these crimes, petty crime is up over 100% in the past decade alone. You know what the government of Canada is telling you? I kid you not, after a spat of home invasions, which used to be a rare occurrence. Now there have been 4 in the last 3 days in Ontario, including the essay of a young child on an offender who, of course, had been released by our coward Liberal government. They're told, if your house is broken into, you should comply. I kid you not. The head of Peel Regional Police said, comply if your house is broken into. This is a government that wants you dead. MAID is now the 5th leading cause of death in Canada. And you know who's going to and taking MAID? I'll tell you this. It's not immigrants. It's Canadians. It's Canadian citizens. The 5th leading cause of death is now medically assisted dying in Canada. This government wants you dead. They are saying if there's a home invasion at your house, they're saying comply. Are you effing kidding me? These people are so goddamn out of touch. This goes against basic common sense. If somebody has broken into your home, the absolute last thing that you want to do is comply with these people. The level of insanity, the level of woke dystopia that we are hitting in Canada has got to be leading anywhere in the world. These people like Mark Carney, Anita Anand, Chrystia Freeland, Dominic LeBlanc, Stephen Galbo, they are so detached from reality. It is becoming more difficult and more difficult to disrupt. All of these people have armed guards outside their houses. Doug Ford, you look at their house, they have police officers. I live a couple of blocks away from the Parliament building. You look at Mark Carney's fucking motorcade coming in and out of the office. They don't have to deal with any of the crime in this country. They don't have to deal with the open crack smoking. They don't have to deal with the hundreds of thousands of violent people who have been released onto our streets due to this insane, disruptive immigration policy. They don't have to deal with any of it, but they know what's happening and they want it to happen. They want it to happen because they know that patriotic Canadians are eventually going to stand up and say, enough is enough. We cannot take this shit anymore. We are done. Our ancestors did not die at Vimy Ridge, did not die in World War II so that Mark Carney could come in and loot this country through Brookfield Asset Management, who owns $37 billion worth of real estate in the country, by the way. He just needs, all he cares about is continuing to pump those numbers more and more up. We are not letting you scumbags destroy this beautiful country with your destructive policies anymore. We need a movement a revolutionary movement that says enough is enough, and they know they're going to get pushed back, and that's what they want, because they know you can only push, even in Canada, so far before the Canadian citizens stand up and say enough is enough, at which point they can say, oh, for your safety, we need to implement digital IDs. We need to implement a central digital banking currency. It's for safety. It's for safety. And the lemmings and the sheep in this country that continue to sign off on an administration that allows people who SA 3-year-olds back on the street to reoffend again. Check it out. David Senecal, a 25-year-old child SAer, was allowed back out on the streets after spending only 12 months in prison for SAing an underage child, and he did the exact same thing again to a 5-year-old. It's disgusting. These people are perverted freaks who are consciously, this is not a mistake, destroying our country. It's time the patriotic Canadians stand up, fight back. We're running out of time. There's not very much time left in Canada. If we have another 2-3 years of this policy, I shudder to think how we're going to look, particularly considering the fact that there have already been whispers coming out from the clowns in Carney's cabinet, which, by the way, is 95% the same as the idiots that Trudeau had in there, that they are thinking of implementing digital IDs and CBDCs, which would be the end of Canada as we know it. I'm hosting a rally Saturday, September 15th. Take Canada back. Parliament Hill, noon. I want to get tens of thousands of patriotic Canadians out to send a clear message to our government that we will not take it anymore. We are sick of being tread all over. Our ancestors did not fight heroically World War I, World War II to see this country destroyed by a weak, pathetic creep like Mark Carney and the members of his cabinet. Saturday, September 13th, noon, Parliament Hill. Please like, share, become a member if you're interested. Help mold this movement from the ground up. Get exclusive videos, exclusive chats, get access to me. I need help molding this movement from the ground up. If you're following on TikTok, I'm over 13K subscribers, and the Canadian government is not a big fan of distance. So please make sure you're following on YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada2025. Patriotic Canadians are going to take this country back.